Good. Is this the mic? Okay. All right.
Cool. We're good to go.
Nathan.
Yeah.
Do you want to say something?
Let's go. Should I be standing here for the camera, or what's the? No. Here we
No,
go.
no. You should.
Yeah.
This is the camera.
There we go.
You're on camera now.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. Hey, I'm Nathan Skene. So I run the Neurogenomics lab here at Imperial, part of the UK Dementia Research Institute. And I guess I installed Claude Code around Christmas. And then I disappeared into a bunker and sort of didn't come into the lab for the next 2 months because this moment in history is too special. We do not have time for the stuff that used to be day-to-day stuff. We need to grasp this moment because history is changing. The world is changing. We need to be on top of this stuff. Anything you are doing otherwise is now less important than figuring out how we make the best use of this and how we make those around us understand what is happening and make sure that they are also doing so. Like we're working, trying to get the directors of our institute to understand, trying to get people, you know, the senior leadership of Imperial to get it, and they don't get it yet. And they don't have time to be getting it. There is no time to waste. We need to grab this moment and run because it's crazy what we can do now. It's absolutely mad. So we got to run. We got to do all the things in one go. And one of the ways we're going to have to do this, I'm going to repeat myself over some of the things I've said earlier. We've got to build communities. We need to know who else is actually trying to grasp the future. Who else is trying to actually build things? I think across London, there is a serious vibe now of the people who are aware that we can now build are reaching out to each other. And it's on us within biotech to do that. We need to build the community of builders within biotech. And we need to be talking to each other because nobody can keep up with the rate of progress which is happening right now. I've been putting a lot of time into trying to keep on top of it, and it's real hard. Like things are moving so quickly. The only way we can figure out what's really the best way to be doing things right now is by talking to each other, by communicating. As much as AI is accelerating, the importance of human connection and talking to other people is only more important now. Because while we can sit there and juggle 20 different Claude Code windows in one go, which I don't know about you guys, but that is basically my life now. My life is a permanent set of moving between 20 different Claude Code tabs. And every single thing I do goes through Claude Code, right? You know, there's various levels of like how hooked into the sort of cyborg infrastructure you are. But yeah, I understand there are other people who are still way beyond me, sat there coordinating their blocks of agents. So we got to work out how we make use of this, how we actually use it to do productive stuff, how we use it to make sure that in 20 years' time, we have solved biology. You guys have all heard about this guy in Australia with his dog, right? You know, $3,000, and he's gone a good way towards curing his dog's cancer. Just a bloke who was told his dog was going to die, right? You look at all the rare diseases kicking around nowadays. We know how to sequence them. We know how to treat them. We know, given the type of mutation it is, what type of treatment you should come up with. In my opinion, it is morally unacceptable if there are still rare diseases around in 20 years' time. We cannot wait for the institutions to solve these things for us. We have to be starting the companies. We have to be starting the movements that are going to get these things done today. We've got to get them done today so that in 20 years' time, these things are done. Right? No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to do it for your kids. You want these things done, do them now because they can be done. Most of these diseases can be cured. And the pathetic rate of biology nowadays, driven by ridiculous hypotheses and appalling sample sizes, is not acceptable. We cannot tolerate it any longer. We have to work together. And now we have AI. The people who see these things, the builders, can stop this. We can change this field and we can fix it. We can make biology into a proper functioning science, one that actually progresses, one that is going to cure everything. We know that crazy changes in science can happen because we can see it clearly now with AI. We sat there wondering, when were we going to get our flying cars? Why is history halted? Why are the buildings so damn ugly? Why is everything falling apart? Why can't our civilization do anything anymore? But it can. We've built AI. We can cure the diseases too. But how are we going to do it? There are practical problems, and there's a lot that we've got to do. So within the lab, there's like all these different fronts in which we're trying to implement this now. You get data being generated in the lab. So we're trying to work out how do we get AI into that side of the lab. And there are practical things there, like, we've been using electronic lab notebooks. But that involves humans. Humans have to deal with filling in lots of forms to get an electronic lab notebook properly coordinated. How do we automate that? How do we make it that there's agents sat there watching all the experiments that people are doing, logging? No one's actually explained what this experiment was about. That's going to make it hard for AI to interpret the results down the line. We've got to automate that. We've got to coordinate as a community to make sure that we have tools that make it so that lab work is super efficient. There's guys over at Stanford that are also having a go at this. We've got to make sure that we're not all duplicating efforts. There needs to be coordination. The role of human coordination in moving quickly with this is really important. I don't even have time to look at what these guys in Stanford are doing. Someone's got to look into it and figure out what we can actually reuse as a community, what all the labs can use to push forward. Other things in the lab, we've got, you guys, if you're all bioinformaticians, you're probably used to the problem of, you've got files on a server. Who the hell knows what these files are? People with -80 fridges, you open it up and there's these samples there from, 50 years back that no one ever worked out what it was and why it's there. These things are all going to get automated away. No one's going to be putting a sample into a -80 fridge in 20 years manually. Stuff's all going to be done by robots. As much of the lab work as we can automate has to be automated. And this starts with figuring out what everything is. Figuring out what all the files are, figuring out what everything links together. There's a lot of basic plumbing here. So, the exciting things are not all going to come from just getting fancy bits of bioinformatics done. Some of it is basic plumbing. Some of it is just common to any industry. Who am I meant to be meeting today? What meetings do I have? What should I actually be doing today? I've got to fill out this grant. How do we do this? Grant writing, all kinds of things. We need to coordinate and make sure that these things are solved. There's a lot of paperwork. The governments like to throw paperwork at it. The institutions like to slow us down with paperwork. We've got to automate the hell out of all this stuff. They throw paperwork at us. We throw our AIs back at them. We just got to move quickly. That is the thing that matters right now. We've got to build. Anytime we're not building is time we are slowed down. So we can't afford to be slow at this point in history. So other things, you look at basic problems in biology, like basic fundamental things like, I have sequenced my genome. What's interesting about it? How do we do this at the moment? How do you actually get from a genome to an interesting report of like, these are the notable things? How do you just go like, I've sequenced my genome. Here are the loss of function variants that I have. This is like a foundational problem in biology. How do you do it? There is no way of doing this at the moment. We've got an NHS with huge backlog of clinical geneticists just sat there waiting to give someone their Panelab results. Some pathetic, meager list of variants that the NHS, some regulator, has told someone that they're allowed to tell a patient. This is pathetic. This is not going to get people's cancers cured. It's not going to get their rare diseases cured. The thing that's going to get those things done is making it so that you sequence your own genome. You go and get your analysis done. You run the app yourself. You get your AIs to analyze your genome. And it tells you what you can do to make yourself healthier. That is the future. Not sitting around in a waiting room with the NHS waiting to give you a clinical genetics appointment in 3 years' time, where they will only tell you what a regulator has told them they can say. We cannot tolerate that any longer. We need to build it ourselves, and we can. I've built some AIs that can analyze my own genome. You guys can too. It needs some work. It needs validation checks. There are core things in doing the bioinformatics. How do we build validation checks? How are we going to make sure that we're not just spewing out Claude code that doesn't actually work. We need checks, we need QCs, we need as a community to come together and say, if we give it our genome, how do we know that the results are legit? We need the people that know all the algorithms involved to just QC all the little steps and say, this actually makes sense. So I know this particular part of the pipeline and I've ticked off that works, and now everyone can analyze their genome using this. No one else needs to look at the code again unless they actually have an improvement to contribute to one little bit. The core parts of bioinformatics should never be done by a human again. We should not be sat there running basic pipelines that other people have done before. Time's over. It's done. It's time for us to actually build. It's time for us to do things using the tools. So this is what we're here to do today. We think ClawBio is the way that we can all club together as a community to get these things done. So over to Manu.
How the heck am I going to follow that? I thought I was the only crazy person. Someone crazier than me. I felt so lonely until now. I haven't slept that much, have you? Since Christmas?
Since Christmas. You're fine for that.
Okay, so I felt very lonely because my wife thought I was crazy. My people around me thought that, you know, because I just couldn't share what I had. I mean, I felt that something is fundamentally different. And that difference for me is that intelligence is not the bottleneck. For me, the bottleneck is the time to be able to verify whatever my 10 different instances of cloud code is running at the same time in parallel. So this morning I was looking, because you probably have seen that ClawBio.ai, which, by the way, I paid £200 for that domain. I truly believe we are the first biodomain agentic community. I was looking at the ClawBio events. You can see them if you check somewhere in the page itself. The hackathon guy and the GitHub thing. I just want to bring your attention to this. Okay, so this thing didn't exist 3 weeks ago. Okay, so 3 weeks ago I presented at the London Bioinformatics meetup. You were there, yeah. And I asked the audience, 30 people, more or less similar. So I asked the audience, who's using Claude code? Okay, so can I ask can you raise your hand if you are using Claude code? Oh, thank God. No one. 3 weeks ago, no one in the London Bioinformatics meetup, 1,500 members, the biggest concentration of bioinformaticians in London. Yeah, it's been running since 2015. We have people from GlaxoSmithKline, we have people from Imperial, UCL, from Westminster, you name it, no one. And I'm in a room where most people, I mean, this thing is probably going to not sound foreign to you. My accent will sound foreign, but not Claude Code. So it's exploded. Okay. If we look at the numbers of Claude Code and ClawBio, which I have the presentation here, which by the way I did it with Claude Code. I did it yesterday. So it has been downloaded 3,100 times. I know it's not the same as OpenClaw, but I know that right now, at least in the West, I mean, I know that somebody told me that the robot I had invented called Robotary now has been cloned by some Chinese, and you have, I think it's called ClawMix or something. They have Robotary, and they were coming to me saying, "Oh, they've copied you," and I said, "Well, it doesn't matter. You know, it's MIT license, it's open source." But they haven't had Terry as a PhD supervisor. I have had it. So the important thing about this is not the code. It's actually the community, and that's what I care for, because we can't cope. Things are going so fast, and as you were saying, anyone I talked to in my university, I gave a AI fluency lecture a few days ago. Nobody was interested. I'm like, guys, what am I living in a different planet? I mean, what the heck? I mean, you guys have no idea of how things have changed in 3 months, 6 months. I don't work the same. I don't check my emails first anymore. I have my you know, in my phone, in my computer, I'm always checking Claude somehow. I'm saying Claude, but you know, maybe you are using Codex. Somebody was talking about Codex. So this community doesn't have to be built on top of OpenClaw, but it's built on top of OpenClaw because I think right now is the, I guess, community or tool that is exploding. Okay, it has been in a few months. It has been the most downloaded and the most starred project in the history of GitHub. And so, what I think is important for us, for me, is that somehow we are in this momentum where anything that, and we have this opportunity where I think London has the capacity of becoming and I truly believe that today is the hub for anything bio in agentic biology. We are the hub, global hub today. And I was going to say earlier, I was looking at the OpenClaw meetings. There are hundreds. You know, Shanghai, Seoul, Sydney, Sao Paulo. None of them had bio in it. So I think we have an opportunity today to shape the future of biology, because I believe that biology is going to be fundamentally agentic. And I know that this is sounds like buzzwords and all of that, but I just think that we advertised this thing in Luma a week ago. Yeah. And we've had 105 registrations. You are here. We haven't advertised it. We just put it on LinkedIn. I mean, that says something to me. So I want for you two things. I want you to have fun, get some food before it disappears. We have I've ordered 20 pizzas that will come at 1:30. I don't want you to go hungry, but if you go hungry in any shape or form, I'm sorry. I was just spend like £400 of my own pocket for the catering. I hope that I get some of the money back. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. For me, what matters is that I'm not. And to be honest, Nathan, I really like. I don't think I can match what you did. Like, it's the first time I've heard you speak that way. And to be honest, I had like goosebumps, and because I couldn't have said it either. I couldn't have said it better. What happens in a week is like previously what would happen in a month. What's happening in a month is what happened in a year. I mean, I don't have time to wait. I don't have time to even publish. A year. I can't wait a year. I can't, this thing is exploding. And I don't think that most people understand the exponential growth in terms of adoption, in terms of code production, in terms of how things are changing. And I'm not even going to use this. I mean, this is probably bullshit anyway, but I just want two things from you. I just want you to really, really use this to find other people, and hopefully this will be the beginning of a community. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We've just been kind of messily putting Discord, WhatsApp, Luma. I send you some, messy email. I'm sorry to bombard you. What I have clear from what I hope is that this will be the beginning of something that I hope will be worth living.
I think just to chip in on that, like, we've not really discussed this yet, but like, how we're going to take this forward in the future. Like, one thing we've been hoping is like, we need to stay in contact in the future. We've been thinking of putting together like salons. Like, as I said, we can't wait for everyone else to solve it. We need to identify the big problems, how we're going to solve them, who's going to solve them, who's going to run the companies. We just need to do things. So we're thinking of like just getting together for beers, just meeting for little debates in the evenings in pubs, just knocking ideas around. Maybe do more hackathons on like specific topics. Just try to get people who are experts in particular areas and just launch ourselves at trying to tackle particular problems. But that's it. Today is a launch pad. We're open to ideas. We want to talk with you guys, but we think we need the biologists here, and then we've got to pull all the AI people from across London in. So
just to say a few words about, so ClawBio is really the excuse, and it's the thing that people see and get the stars, and it doesn't belong to anyone. It's open source. Anyone should be able to contribute. I think we have the opportunity to, as I said, the vision. What's the vision? The vision would be that potentially that would be the hub of anything biodomain in the agentic AI world. At least that's the current aspiration, the current vision. And as I said, it's only 3 weeks old. So it's definitely going on agentic speed.
And now on the agentic speed, we're going to need to get VCs into this community as well. The VCs care about this. The VCs get what's happening. The funders might be a bunch of old school people who have no clue.
No.
But no, when we go to the pubs, we're going to be doing our best to get VCs coming along as well. So people, if we identify a problem, I literally want companies being founded at the pub and VCs committing to fund them there and then.
And to be honest,
that's what we have to be doing. That is the speed we need to move.
And believe me, I think London is a great place.
Yes.
Like, as I said, I have not seen this biodomain thing in San Francisco. I haven't seen it advertised. So I think we have an opportunity here. And that's it. I don't want to waste any more of your time. I'm just gonna give you, so this is all tentative, okay? And I made it yesterday in a rush using Claude Code. So So what do we have for today? We do have Databricks. Toss, are you around?
I am here, yes. I'm just
Hi.
setting up.
So this is Toss from Databricks. Welcome. You are the first serious company that engages with us. It's not going to be the last, I can tell you that. So we're gonna, what's the time? Yeah, we're gonna have you now having a little presentation. Tell us what your vision is, because as I said, this is, I mean, this is academics, math people like me, computer, this is, we're gonna have pizza. Then Jay, for those of you who want, I mean, this is all optional. He's gonna give you a little bit of a sort of demo of things that you could do if you want to, because one of the things that we had in mind, you are not supposed to know anything. I mean, the only thing is that this is meant to be an opportunity for anyone who wants to become part of the revolution to join and learn. I mean, I don't know a fucking clue what I'm doing. I promise you, you're not alone. Okay. The only thing I know is that we have hopefully mind-like people. People who think more or less the same. People who don't mind just shouting out. So then after that, we're going to have some time to, basically the idea is that you should talk to each other and you should find people who are sharing your same interests. We're going to provide tables out there for people to work and form groups. We also suggested some ideas, like for instance, the future of reproducibility about biological research. The thing I keep constantly being bombarded and criticized and shouted at, which is the security aspect. So how do we manage the fact that we all know that OpenClaw has serious security issues? Is that going to stop me from building? No.
Carapace, they hacked together a brilliant security patch at the OpenClaw Hackathon at Imperial last week. They won. It's on GitHub. Good.
There.
Yeah.
So day before yesterday, NVIDIA launched their version of OpenClaw, which is NemoClaw, which is more secure. So I think maybe worth exploring that.
Good. Yeah.
Everyone is free. As I said, this is a community building exercise rather than a software building exercise. Now, there's going to be your themes, so feel free to suggest your own theme. And then at the end of the day, anyone who wants to show and tell will come here. We have it programmed around 5:30 to come back, and you tell us whatever you want to show. Maximum 10 minutes, I suppose, to give people, and it can be one person, it can be in teams. And then after that, we're going to have some pub maybe, or
downstairs at the works with some beers.
and at the end of the day, I hope that we're going to have some way of communicating with each other. I don't know how yet, so maybe WhatsApp and Discord and Telegram or emails, whatever. But this is just the seed for something that hopefully will be much bigger. I think that's
the
it.
best ways will be there's a calendar on Luma, so sign up for that, and we'll post future events through Luma as well, and we'll list them all on that calendar. But just make sure if you're interested in coming, click that.
So Tos, that's you now.
It's me. Okay, I've got 30 minutes now. Okay, cool. I tried to make the demo in 15 minutes, so an extra 15. That's great. Can I unplug this?
So
Set up
what
on my laptop.
I suggest is that you're going to, if I pass you on the Teams link
Okay. Yeah.
and you join via Teams.
Yeah. That's fine.
Do you have a?
I do have Teams. If you just
Send
send.
you the link.
Yeah.
What we're setting up, can we just get a show of hands of like who here is from an AI background versus like biology, and then
from A.
So AI.
Who's like more AI?
Technology and business.
Yes. Like AI tech more than biology. Sort of half raised hand there. Okay, and who's like biology? No. Is there anyone that's not put their hand up to either of those?
Yeah, because I hard to find myself. Sometimes I know both, but sometimes I think I don't know.
And who's used agents before?
Who's used Databricks? Nice. Good.
Who's used, so we have the Claude Code London, so that's most people now. Who's using Codex more than they're using Claude? Anyone using anything else as their main AI? Like Perplexity or?
Gemini.
Yeah, actually, okay.
Still.
Speaking me now.
Kimmy. Yeah, good. Is anyone else using like Kimmy, OpenBrew?
No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Oh, wait.
there's a lot of them really.
Just got that email.
Yeah, personal capacity, I explore a lot of tools, but within the organization, we are Microsoft kind of.
Still waiting.
So we are going with Copilot.
Yeah, I prefer, yeah, definitely.
You like Copilot?
You can send it directly on Teams. Do you have
Amazing that
Teams?
you asked the code pilot in
Start
our
like a business
search
search
result,
on
so
the-
it refuses.
for them to get on
Teams
the-
itself.
Nice integration.
Down there.
And
Yeah, if you go on to like chat, like as in you can open up like your general Teams,
Yeah.
and then you can just send the link via there. Oh, that's the meeting chat, not.
yeah, or actually, like, yeah, then-
So if you go on to search,
So who here is from industry?
did anyone put the hand up? Oh, sorry, I'm elsewhere.
Where are you guys coming from?
We just have a bunch of private companies that are starting to take off because nobody really knows how to do anything anymore. They're desperate to implement AI, but they just don't know how to do it.
Oh,
And I think the biggest hurdle.
When you say we, does that mean like you're in like the
Yeah,
investment
my
side?
little group and stuff.
Okay.
What we're seeing, the big problem is that everyone's trying to integrate AI into their existing workflow, so they're failing.
Yeah.
You have to use AI and then create a new way of doing things.
Yeah.
And if they're slowly
Share
getting
it, you should be able to share, no?
It is slow.
only organisers and presenters can share.
Who else was from industry?
And you know, request permissions, no?
20 years I work in the utility sector.
Yeah.
Essentially. And I have my own limited company as well, where we are kind of, me and my partner, we are reading various products using kind of.
How are you currently sharing on there?
Essentially,
I guess I've been,
predominantly to support small and medium businesses. In these routes, where.
Source.
There's
On the side. That's just pinning.
The challenge what we are facing is it's easy to make the prototype, like it's very easy now, like we just need to have an idea, you can build the prototype. The real challenge is making that prototype to the production solution. After making production solution, protecting that, because it's easy for anyone
need
to build an idea, because everyone has access to cloud.
Yeah.
So how you maintain your competitive advantage, so that's the challenge.
Like how businesses are formed and what is a product will change. How
Yeah,
as well, right?
and you don't have control on the, like, the resources on which your model is, or your product is based. For example, let's say tomorrow there is a new model comes in and it protects your interface.
Yeah.
can we allow him to privileges to share?
What are some people's biggest reservations about the use of AI? Like,
You've
what
joined
do
the
you think stops
Yes.
the people around you from wanting to immediately take it up?
Learning curve.
Sorry?
I think learning curve. I think there's good prompting, there's bad prompting, and people have a go, prompt awfully, and then give up and say it doesn't work.
Yeah, so many people I know.
I've asked Josh, can you
Opinions
ask Josh
coloured by
to?
the original ChatGPT that came out, writing a little poem about them, so they've never touched it.
Yeah.
Does this yours? Yes.
I think it's
Happens when you press the share button. I can't press it.
to play,
Only organisers and presenters can share.
especially like work. Like, why should I pay for what I'm, the tool I'm using at work? Yeah.
I
think probably this is the one that is.
so briefly mentioned of good examples. So they
Email this
surveys that AI is
Imperial slides, and then it can.
or incompetent.
I'm going to show my demo.
And I think the lack of like truly demonstrable examples where this has accomplished something really, really great would help people in like changing their opinion and being more receptive to understanding and learning. Because currently I think a lot of people just don't see the utility of it because they've had their opinions colored by whatever.
I think it's true. I think it's if you don't program, you don't know. That's where it's been really successful. That's why we're so excited about it.
But also people, I think as the models of the foundation models gotten better, the type the kind of things that people try to do with them have got more and more advanced. So the error rate has seems pretty constant throughout, even though objectively for the same task it's getting better and better and better.
I've got really good demos to answer all these questions. We're just going to be a couple minutes. Like I've got a low code demo, like shows you like, hey, you're saying coding is like a difficulty in Databricks. Like we have solutions for that, like as in, and then you can also, if you want to go, oh, I know how to code, I know how to build my own models, you can do that as well. So we have that kind of scalability for, let's say you have no experience with AI, you can build solutions. If you have loads of experience in AI, you can build solutions. And also in terms of the biggest reservation as well, like, because we tend to work with like organizations as well, they have like security concerns and governance concerns. Like, how do you prevent like personal data leaving your org? How do you get people from other departments not seeing that personal data as well? So like at Databricks, governance is like the pillar that defines like our messaging as such. Again, the demos will show this, but whilst we're waiting, I'm Toz, by the way, nice to meet you all. I'm a solution architect at Databricks. I work in the public sector, that includes like higher ed. I've been there now for 8 months, which is a long time for Databricks, I'll tell you that. And I'm with Shay as well, so he's the account executive for Imperial. And today I wanted to sort of give you guys a bit of a background on like what Databricks is. Very briefly, I don't want to do death by slides, we're not consultants. And then I was going to show you 2 demos. So raise of hands, like who's heard of Databricks? Cool, that's good. Who's used it? Okay, 2. I want to ask someone who's heard of it and not used it what they think Databricks is. If anyone's willing to. Well, yeah, that was the first hand was here. Sorry.
I think it's another one of those platforms like Jira, which do all your analysis on the cloud.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Nice. Anyone want to have another one? Yeah, let's go for it.
If it's what I'm thinking it is.
Yeah, we might be a different company.
Yeah, it's like essentially a unit of data. So it's like data packages that are put together that you can then like download and interact with.
Okay.
In like a stereotyped way.
Okay. Cool. It's really hard to explain without showing the UI. But the whole idea of Databricks is it's like a data intelligence platform. So when I explain it, I usually use my mum as the gauge. If I can try and explain it to my mum, like then I can explain it to most people usually, because she has no idea what's going on when it comes to Databricks.
People's mums have PhDs.
My mum does not have a PhD. But I'm sure a lot of you guys have PhDs as well, to be honest. So hopefully I can explain it to you guys, but it's a data intelligence platform. So it's like the super app of data. So once your data is in the platform, you can do anything with it. So you could be your machine learning models, your data engineering, your BI, like AI, BI dashboards, like we do as well now. Agentic models, like we have something called Databricks. Like, so whatever you think you can do with your data, you can do it in Databricks. So that's the whole point. It's like a one-stop shop. And we're like multi-cloud. So if you have an organization that's on multiple clouds like AWS, Azure, or GCP, you can connect all that data together and all those platforms together to basically run whatever you want on your data. Trust me, it looks better when I show it.
It's your computer.
Yes, this is my computer. Yes, yes. Okay, cool. Right. My slides. Where are my slides? Cool. View slideshow. I thought I was only going to have 15. Oh, I've got 20 minutes. So if there's anyone has any like questions throughout and thinks it's going to be a fast one, please ask. Otherwise, I'm going to be around afterwards. So just you can ask me any questions.
Then we do 15 minutes, so we don't have that long for the hackathon.
Yes. Okay. Or if you don't want to have your pizza, you can talk to me.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put some logos up here in terms of who we work with in life sciences. There are some other logos, but I don't have time to edit them and put them in the slides. not my job to make slides anymore. So just want to give a quick slide. So if you guys want to actually try and do the hackathon today in Databricks, you can just set up a free trial account. Don't worry about trying to remember the URL.
I'll share the link.
Yeah, share the link.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
you can just quickly search Databricks Express setup.
Yeah.
It gives you a 14-day free trial. That's perfectly fine. So the data intelligence platform is basically what our organization is like. That's literally the only thing that exists in Databricks is this platform. I wanted to give like a quick 2-minute overview of what the platform includes, and then I'm going to do the demos. So I'm going to talk really quickly because I remembered it was 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So essentially, this is, I know it's just a load of boxes, but it basically gives you the whole entire stack of what's inside the platform. So we don't own any hardware. We sit on top of cloud. So like if your organization or wherever you work or like where you're using it from, like you need to have one of those 3 hyperscalers. So Azure, AWS and GCP. So you sit on cloud storage. Then inside this platform, we have data and AI governance. So we have something called Unity Catalog, which basically governs every like piece of data inside the platform. But that doesn't just include like tables in the traditional sense, but also like models, also dashboards and just any asset, because we want to govern it, because it could contain like personal information, or it could be sensitive, or it's just, again, least access control. Then we have the AI engine. So I'll show you like we have our own built-in like coding tool as well, like we call it Genie Code. It's kind of, I'm being recorded. Yes. I won't mention any other organizations, but yeah, it's could be argued similar to those, and also just intelligent restacking in the org as well. So like, let's say you want to search for a table in your platform. If you know loads of other people are using it, it will just show you dynamically. So like, there's also like intelligence built throughout. And then we're going to focus on this bubble today. So if you're like a data engineer, you want to ingest your data from like 4 formats. Like there's so many other systems that people use today. You ingest, you transform it, and you get it like curated. It's like a golden layer. Sorry, I'm just using a lot of Databricks jargon. If you don't understand, again, come and prod me afterwards. Then we have a lot of tooling around analytics, ML and AI, and data warehousing as well. From the collaboration sense, we have loads of ways of sharing between like, let's say, you know, other individuals that don't live in your organization use Databricks and you want to share data, you want to share models, you can do that. And like you can do that in a governed way. And they don't even have to be using Databricks, and neither do you. Like we have like the software and the technology to do that. Orchestration, that's just for automation, ETL, like transformation. BI tools, yeah, that one's just self-explanatory. Has anyone heard of MLflow before? Yeah, hands up. Cool, MLflow. Spark? Cool. Delta? Cool. They all came out of Databricks. So all our founders are still there. Started the company in 2013. They're all from like Berkeley. They all have PhDs, except one, I think, but I'm not going to name names. And like these guys were like, so Spark was the original technology that we produced. So I'm just going to add some boxes to this. Cool. This is what we'll sort of focus on today. Let me just cover it. Sorry. There are additional boxes, but I've deleted I've deleted them because it's not going to crowd it too much. But like, yeah, Delta Lake pioneered it. We made it. We invented it. We also invented Spark back in like 2011, and then basically Databricks developed out of that. And then we also created MLflow, I think, which is the industry standard, but I don't know when MLflow came out. So as in like all those technologies are baked into Databricks, and they are all open source as well. Any questions on what the platform is? I know. Any questions on the slides real quickly? I'll take one.
How has it changed with Agentic AI? I see slides are from 2024. Like, what's the? Is it all being ripped up? How's it changing? Are you adding new products? Like, how's the flow?
So yeah, I probably should have deleted that. What's changed primarily within the platform from an agentic lens is like we have like data bricks. So those are like managed services that are like low code, no code, where you can, I'm going to actually, that's a great segue actually. Thank you so much. Let's find my demos. Cool. Right, okay. This is what Databricks looks like. So basically, has anyone used a notebook before? Yeah, okay, cool. So nice. Right, audience. This is like the workspace. So this is where you can open up all your different files. You can see I've gone a bit mad over the last couple of days, creating some demos specifically for this. By the way, I found out about this on Monday. So like, not in terms of you think give me enough warning, but it's just so quick how you can build things now. Like, so I built like loads of different demos. I was like, okay, you guys sent me the agenda a couple of days ago. Like, what could I build? Asking all those cool LLMs, like, what can be done? What's changed with Agentic? So here is like all the different parts of the platform that can be used. So there's two things I'm going to talk about today, or three actually: Genie, agents, and Genie and agents. Actually, don't worry about anything else. I was actually shared Emmanuel's 23andMe data. So I did some analysis on it actually, and I built some agents. So
emailed it to you.
You emailed it to me, which is probably not the right way to do it. You could have done Delta
It's in
share.
the public domain.
It's in the public domain. Okay, brilliant. So what I'm going to do is I've actually inserted I'm not going to do it now, but I've already uploaded the data into a table. I'll show you it. I actually took out the PII because I didn't know if he was going to be sensitive about sharing that information. So you can see here, this is the sample data. So it just has again, I've got an A level in biology. So please excuse if I read anything wrong or if I say anything incorrectly. That's fine. But this is just sort of the chromosome. This is just the entire data set, isn't it?
Can I say, if you shame me publicly, you get brownie points.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's brilliant. I'll try my best. How much time I've got? I've got 12 minutes to shame you. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you something called a Genie space. So what I've done is going into here. I believe I've added, yes. Okay, so this is basically really quickly on the hood a text to SQL engine. So let's say you don't really know SQL that well, and you have some general questions you want to ask about this corpus of data. So I've inserted this data into this space. Again, apologies, I know I'm talking really quickly. If you want to ask more, please just find me afterwards. And it's basically came up with some sample questions that I could ask based on data. I didn't put anything in. I didn't give any information. I've just put the table in here, and I believe, yes, so it's got no descriptions on it as well. The intention of these spaces, or these Genie spaces, is the more context you provide, the less hallucination there is. So the space works off the information that I provide. So here, I'm not given it any descriptions, which is really bad. And again, it's great that I'm being recorded. And it's also got sample data as well. You can also provide general instructions. So like that system prompt you said there, like some people just keep giving really bad prompts. So you could update this, and then you basically can work off the back of that. And let's say you had multiple tables, so like clinical trial data and all of this, you could basically tell the space how these tables should join with one another. So again, providing as much context as possible. And I'm just going to click one of the random questions. Understand the question. I've got 10 minutes. Okay, that's good. Genie is warming up. Cool. Expecting. Nice. So it's just giving me a general distribution, and then this is the code that's been written for me as well. I can check the code. I can rerun the code. Like, it's not set in stone. And in terms of governability and auditability, I'm just going to go to the monitoring stage. You can see these are all the questions I've asked prior. So if you wanted to go back to your previous conversation, you can see this history as well. So again, it's all about that auditability and just like being able to see when it's gone well. And
what's really the Databricks side of this? Is it the idea that it has the compute in the back end? Like it can fire up servers to run more complex analysis? Or?
So the Databricks side of this is, well, again, because you're not owning the hardware, you don't have to manage the compute. So like, for instance, you don't have to, there depends. So this is a serverless compute here. So like what will happen is when you send off your query, it will just run up a compute on your cloud. So I'm on AWS here actually, and it will just run up a compute and it will be managed for you. So you don't have to manage that service. If you wanted to run up a particular compute yourself, let's say you wanted to run a really expensive workload, you could basically provision, which when we say provision, we're basically just saying to the cloud provider, hey, give us some compute space. We want a really big GPU. You can do that as well. So the power of the Genie space in terms of the Databricks side is it's contextualizing your questions, like when you provide that data. And the whole idea is like, I've done it in 2 clicks. You can create this stuff really quick. It's just like managed for you. So it's basically, instead, I don't know, it's like, I'm not going to mention a competitor's name, and I've got 8 minutes, but you can create this in 2 minutes, like less. Like you don't have to be an expert in how to create chatbots or AI chatbots, essentially. You can just simply just direct a table or a schema that's managed in Databricks, and you say, okay, I want to ask questions relating to this.
Can I just contextualize this? I imagine most people here are used to using like the Imperial like HPC servers or whatever you got at your university. There we would just like fire up whatever nodes we need to do whatever compute we need.
Yeah.
This would just do it using cloud.
Yes, no, everything's cloud. So we don't own any infrastructure. Like there's no compute owned by us. It's all cloud.
One thing that I find hard to do with Imperial is like if I've got an open claw sitting on a Hertzner server and I want to just run a load of GPU compute for like 5 minutes. Can that be solved with this?
It can, but it would be more a question of like who the admin is and would they give you access to do that. So if you were given privilege to do so, yes, you can do that. But I've got 7 minutes. I don't want to eat into piece of time. If anyone wants to like stay for that, can I answer the question after I finish the demo?
I'm just trying to understand like, what's actually
what's happening. Yeah.
At the moment, as far as I can tell, it's a chatbot that can run on files. Why is Databricks needed to do that?
That's the $1 million question.
Presumably all of the queries are going through the AI governance layer.
Yes, yeah. So you can do that through like an AI gateway as well. So you can govern what goes through and out. Let me build on top of this. So I think that might answer your question. So what I've done is also created a knowledge assistant as well, which is basically a RAG bot. So you can do that in 3 clicks in Databricks. So if you want to name, you name your chatbot. So we call it knowledge assistant. Sorry, your RAG bot, and you direct it to what files it's going to be looking at. So here, when I say UC files, those are just files inside our catalog. You select the source. So here, I just put up some academic papers, and then you should click confirm. You need to provide a name and description, etc. I'm not going to do it. It takes a couple of minutes to make because I made one earlier. Sorry, genomics papers, and I can just ask it what papers do you have access to. I'm going to fire that query off. Cool. Does everyone know what a RAG thing like RAG is? Yeah, I got a nod from someone who said they did AI. So it's basically just has access to a corpus of like paper, well, a corpus of text, and then it will retrieve the most relevant information based on what I've said, and then put that back into the prompt. Long story short, it's like an LLM with access to text. Let's just put it like that, like a body of text. So here I've basically, in that catalog, I have access to loads of papers that I've uploaded this morning. I went onto publications like Genomics, and then I just basically uploaded these papers. And after that, I created a supervisor agent. So a supervisor agent in Databricks is like an orchestrator. So essentially, I gave it access to that RAG bot, and I also gave it access to that Genie space. So, and that Genie space contains someone's genetic data. So basically what I asked was, why it's saying update data? I'm going to talk to it. I'm going to ask a question. What diseases is this individual at risk for based off the papers I have provided? I will 4 minutes. Hopefully this is quick. So what it's going to do is it's going to find, so you can look at its thought process essentially. So it's gone to the knowledge assistant. So what diseases or health conditions, this is the JSON that's being sent, at risk based on, so that's the question I've basically asked it and just rephrased it. And it's going to figure out which agent is the most relevant to talk to. So it's gone, okay, provided documents do not contain information about specific diseases or health conditions, the results blah, blah, blah. So it's not even gone to the actual Genie space because it didn't think it was relevant. So basically the information, it's saying the papers I've actually provided on welfare rather than medical or clinical documents. So it's not really worth it. So I was like, okay, this is a completely managed service and there was no code written. So like it's the whole, you're not managing the compute's on the cloud, and I did it in like 4 or 5 clicks. Yes, I had to go through very quickly. I might not think this is good enough for me, and I want to do it a bit more custom. So I actually tried to make my own skill based off the agenda that you guys put out today. So if I go into one of my notebooks, so does everyone know a notebook? At least, yeah, everyone knows notebooks. I created a notebook earlier to try and create a skill. So like a multimodal neurological risk assessment. So I did take an image of someone's brain, like off the internet, not myself. Took an MRI. So here, look. So when I try and run this cell, it's going to ask me if the attached cluster is terminated. So this is when you're talking about that compute references. Do you not have permissions to restart it? Would you like to attach a different compute? Up here, you can simply refer to what kind of compute you want that to be. So here we have that serverless instance that I was referring to, which will have like 0 warm-up time. And then here, these are other like computes that I've created or recent resources that have certain like packages installed. So here ML is like a runtime. So it's just like a pre-configured compute. So let's say you wanted to download a specific package. Instead of having to do that every single time, you can refer that inside your like, I'm going to go off piece for a minute. So if I go into my computes and I go to my personal compute here that I've attached, you can see this is everyone. Some people know Spark, so I've said what Spark version includes, the type of node. Let's say I want to create a new compute. Remember, like we don't own this. This is going to be in the cloud. So I can say the type of runtime. This is the preferred worker node. Does anyone know the difference between worker and driver? Well, let's not go into that. But you can specify that. Does that answer your question a little bit? Are you going to grab me afterwards?
Something like, could you then run a claw on a thing here?
Yes.
And then if you need more compute, you just request.
Yes, you could request, but so yeah, you can. The short answer to the question is yes, and then I want to answer in a bit more depth in a minute after I show this notebook.
But at the moment, I find it annoying if you have to launch a Lambda server because then you just got to sit there clicking on through the Lambda website. It's a pain in the ass. You want the agent to be able to launch GPUs for you.
Yeah, well, I'll actually get something to run that for. Like, let me just select resource serverless. I'm just going to run this through. Basically, what I've done is I create a skill. So it's a multimodal informatics skill, which basically will pull from the tables. It's past, by the way, so if anyone's bored, you can go grab a pizza. It's fine. I won't be insulted. But basically, this is the patient. So I've taken out the name. I created a clinical record. Like, it's going to take a couple of seconds. Where I just sort of like gave their cholesterol. I basically this is all made up information, but the whole idea is this can be brought together. And then I've also got a MRI scan of a brain, and I also call a Sonnet 4 endpoint. So whilst it's loading, I'll show you the code. See here, I basically said this is the prompt I provided it. So you're a neuroradiologist, analyze this brain MRI image, and then basically say like the white. I don't know what this all means. I'll be honest. I got an LLM to write it for me as well, and then basically I put together the information. Hopefully this is all loading. So here it's coming through now. So if I scroll back up, this is the clinical trial record. So the age of the patient, ethnicity, etc. I've also got neurorelevant SNPs, again, only in A-level biology, by the way, so you guys will do a lot better job than me. Scrolling through, so you can see the relevant information, and then also I do a scan of the brain, and then it's basically saying this is the information off the back of that. And then I base.
We'll wrap up in a moment.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll stop now. But if anyone has any questions, I'll still be stood here for a couple of minutes.
And everyone will be able to get access to Databricks if they want to test it.
Yes.
Thank you.
They follow that.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
We've ordered 20 margarita pizzas, which are getting cold. Please come and grab some of it while we can.
Those are some very inspiring words earlier, by the way.
So, if you're really inspired.
I absolutely am.
Okay, sorry.
We are with biotech, so we're not very computer forward.
Can I ask a question?
Like
web, do they have access to the web?
We can.
Yeah.
Connect to the-
So if you want to,
So they can access the files which you have
The company.
on you as a source.
the ones that I provided.
Once you have provided, you can access the web.
Yeah, of course. So it depends. So there's multiple ways you could do it. If you want it to be like, so could you give me an example?
For that question,
Yes.
you want to pull the information from the internet as well,
Yes.
rather than just for that files. So you have files as a source. In addition to that, so for the symptoms, if you want to get kind of diagnosis.
Yeah. But as in, can you think of a specific URL or?
NHS resource project.
Build. So that's where.
So let's say well-being NHS as a resource.
It makes complete sense.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
So basically, you could create like what we call it. How closely are you?
That would be really.
What's your experience with using this kind of technology before?
Yeah, I have built agents.
Okay. So you could have like
Would you suggest to start?
you could have like an orchestrated pipeline that could run API calls in Databricks that could pull like web data into a table, like the ones I just showed you there. So yes, it can be done. Do you want me to spin off an example?
Yes or no?
Yes, yeah, you definitely can do it. You definitely can do it.
We're not using Databricks as such, but we are kind of exploring the solution for the agentic applications.
Yeah. No, you can do that for your data, like data ingestion in general. So I'll find a pipeline. I'll show you. So what's your name, sir? It's Mario. So it's nice to meet you, man. Where you coming from today?
So my office in Southend. I work for water industry. Mosel. Services.
Okay.
Company as well. Around services.
Okay. So you thought how did you find out about this?
Figuring how to do that.
Oh, this came on the no stage. I try to attend this event.
Okay.
I'm doing a master's in fact in AI and machine learning.
Okay.
Today is my day.
Is it possible for us?
Today's a learning day. Yeah, nice.
Managed to squeeze both.
Thanks for the Zoom link set up.
Managed to squeeze this as well.
Honestly, like because like I tend to not. Most of the code that I've generated today was all completely synthetic. And what you can do is when I didn't show it, but I should have showed you. Like so inside Databricks, which is super like handy, is you have something called Genie code. So basically, it's like our AI assistant. So
Maybe I think you might have the course as well, like
yeah.
voting. So if you can share that with others.
Yeah. So
That can be helpful for others to kind of.
of course, yeah. It's just you can just search Databricks Academy, and then it just comes up with completely free.
It's just so that
Looking at biotech right here.
Yeah. Are you going to be partaking today, or are you going to head off now? Okay, good. See, I'm gonna build you a pipeline in the next couple of minutes to pull from. Can you build a pipeline to scrape? Is there a website in particular that you have in mind?
Let's say NHS, for example.
Just NHS.
AWS, just like all the scales put together. So it's kind of sit on top of and on top of any other system, which kind of experiences. Especially when you have a very large company where you don't know anything on the field. This has very good governance. So that's how I think I thought about it. So exactly, it's like an organism which is confusing. So that's what I said. Exactly, I just like puts that chaos into it. So yeah, I mean that's all like like we've been working with some third-party companies who can assess
And stuff like that, or is it? Oh, mental.
But I'm so really good pipelines to get the data.
Yep.
So it's more controlled. The way you control, you have more control on the sources for your engine.
Yeah. So I can create a notebook that speaks the NHS mental health services page and writes the data to a delta table. So I'm just going to ask it not to ask me, just always allow.
And how we can build the agent here?
So this is the agents down here. I was showing before.
But then we can build the custom agent.
You can build custom agents as well. So if I click on agents, you can go here and you can scroll. You can build your own custom agents.
And can you link this agent to the web page?
So to GitHub.
So let's say I have a website.
Oh, as in when you've ingested the data.
So this will be essentially how if I build some solution.
Yep.
Let's say if someone submits the data. So for example, head check.
Yeah.
That information should go to the agent.
Yeah.
That linking of the agent.
So this I didn't have enough time. We have something called serving. So these are model serving. So they can just be treated like an API endpoint.
Oh.
So you can serve your model. It'll have an API endpoint, and you'll call that endpoint with that data.
So these are the endpoints for the
models.
For the models.
For the agents.
What are the is there endpoint for agents?
For the agents, yeah.
So these are in the serving.
Yeah, the serving. So if I go to my agents, the ones that I'd already built, and I showed you the supervisor there. So if I go to serving, there you go. So if I go to the agents, and these are the ones that the agents I built and showed you, like the one that was the supervisor and it was sending off. You can see this is I clicked here on the top here, endpoint, and this is the endpoint right here.
So is this platform very similar? I see the Microsoft Studio, AI Studio or AI Foundry.
Yeah.
Is it? I feel there were a lot of similarity.
There tends to be a lot of similarities for these platforms. I would say the benefit of Databricks, so you can see so if I go to the so these are all the models that are available in Databricks already. So you've got like all the GPT, Claude, Llama, Maverick. I'd say there's a lot of nuances into Microsoft and Databricks. I'd say
Think about this as a pipeline. Then you could have
I'm going to try and start myself. Best together. There are a lot of better things that we do there, especially from the perspective like I would say a lot of those organizations are working backwards to try and get closer to the data. We were already a data platform and we brought the AI onto the platform. Yeah. So like the whole point of when I was answering, was it Josh? I've not met Josh. Just a question about like why Databricks here is you're building the AI on top of your data. You're not bringing the data to your AI. I know it's a really simple answer and doesn't get to the nuances, but it's just like that's the way that our platform is sort of governed in that perspective. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
No worries, man. I'll be here all day, so. I think we're being recorded, so.
I believe
Sorry, I'm stepping you back.
That's what we're saying about most things that we want to.
That's one thing.
I think the wording aspect is. Yeah.
Like, so, actually, and the way kind of get systems in fact, like how far this was kind of well, on the 1st of March and then in person. He was a photo, yeah, like the one. Like from that time, I started coming to it on the I actually this week I'm trying to secure one piece. I think this week going set up so that day, I started kind of told my family something. So I didn't care what they're doing in school. And in fact, here's back 5 years. First day every day. Don't watch anything else, no cartoon. The actual website, as I said, like broke I do. You know, like just jump on. We don't talk because all those are great ideas.
And that's with the questions.
That was hard for you.
Because I was like, obviously I didn't. I got my Claude to work hard as well, but I think it is. I was gonna say we can start recording and then I can start sharing again.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes.
I was gonna say because I can share my. Oh, actually, and then. But it's fine actually. I might.
That's a perspective.
I'll do that. Yeah.
That is missing from the process.
You still need to like.
So slowly.
What do you guys think of the whole like everything in biology is going to be completely different? Like, well, you know, there was a little bit of chat. Maybe right before you guys came, was like, yeah, Nathan had Manuel, like, you know, they lead to their careers, but they're like, or you know, they're pretty young, but like, they're into their careers, but they're like, no, I'm going to drop everything, just like work on this stuff and like change how I'm doing everything. Yeah, what's the what do you think of all that? It's a good question. I think
it makes sense to adopt it though. It makes sense.